Couple pretty nice keepers there for you kids. Getting ready to turn both of them loose. Hope everybody's doing good. It's Chris and Shane doing the weekly installment of the fishing report. We're going to do it from the water again this week. We're still trying to practice our social distancing with everything that's going on with the coronavirus and everything. So we're going to do the fishing report from the water again. I just want to talk to you real quick. Last week, I'm going to catch my breath. Last week when we talked, we talked a lot about a wacky worm and we talked about a lot of fish that were up getting ready to spawn. Well, this week the spawn is full bore. They're on the bed everywhere. And I want to talk to you real quick about a couple of things that I like to do when the fish are actually on the bed. I really like to fish Clearwater lakes this time of the year. Norman, Hickory, Wiley, Baden. I gravitate more towards those lakes because they're shallow. They're clear, and they got a lot of fish in them. And Hickory and Norman especially have got a lot of spotted bass in them. And I love to catch spotted bass. And this time of the year, a lot of those big spots will get up there, and they'll get you wouldn't believe how shallow some of them get. Like I told you last week, when you think you're fishing shallow enough, you probably need to fish a little bit shallower. Well, like this time of the year, they'll get on a real shallow, flat pier. And you can see the bottom all the way around it, and you would surely to goodness think you'd be able to see the fish, but a lot of times you can't. And one thing I like to throw when I'm fishing like that is a Ned rig. And this is just a nothingness looking thing you ever fish in your life. It's a little mushroom shaped head. Dave makes one. It's got an owner hook in it. And you put a little short piece of plastic on it. And I use it on the same rod and reel combo that I throw my wacky worm on. The only difference is on my wacky worm I use 12 pound 100% K9 fluorocarbon. On this one I use 10. And sometimes I'll go as low as 8 if I'm fishing in really clear water. And what them spots will do is they'll get up there and they'll get around the shallow posts and shallow poles on them piers and they'll spawn. Can't see them. What you need to do is, another thing that I stress, as you can see, I've got on a dark colored shirt and a dark colored ball cap. I like to wear dark colors this time of the year because in this shallow water, these fish can really see you. And you have to use some stealth. You have to be sneaky. You have to stay a little ways back from the dock or a little ways, especially if you find one on the bed. As much distance as you can put between you and the fish, that's what you want to do. And it'll help because if they're not aware of your presence, they'll bite a lot quicker. And if you stay a little ways away back from a pier and with spinning tackle like this right here, this is a 6'8" medium action rod with a fast tip. Like I said, it's the same one that I use my wacky worm on. You make a long pitch to right up around the base of them poles, and a lot of time when you pick it up, they're on it. And I'll tell you what I love. I love fishing shallow clear water this time of the year, and I love to throw a Ned rig. I love wrestling with these big fish on spinning tackle. It's a lot of fun. That's 20 pound braid, 10 pound, 100% fluorocarbon, K9 fluorocarbon, and K9 braid, and it's a lot of fun on spinning tackle, especially if you get a 3 or 4 pound spot around the base one of them poles. It's a lot of fun because you have to wrestle them out, and them things, they pull so hard anyway. But, a lot of the Clearwater lakes, that's what I really like to throw, and I throw that a lot. My number one bait that I like to throw is a shaky head. And this is not your normal run-of-the-mill. A lot of people, when they think shaky head, they think of finesse. Well, let me assure you, there is nothing finesse about this shaky head. This is one Dave makes. It's a 1/4 ounce. I've got one of his trick worms on it. Dave makes a whole line of soft plastics, and this trick worm of his really stands up. That thing hits the bottom, it stands up just like that, and spawning fish just can't stand it. But like I said, there's nothing finesse about this. That's 17 pound, 100% K9 fluorocarbon. That is a 7'3" heavy action level rod with an Ardent C-Force reel and a 7-1 gear ratio on it. Like I said, that's the same combo that I throw my jig on. It's the same combo that I use to fish bushes. Like I said, there's nothing finesse about this. And you get around, especially Baden. Baden, a lot of the piers on Baden have got a lot of cross members on it, and I will throw this more so than I will. They'll bite the Ned rig, don't get me wrong. And I can take this shaky head and I can put it in places where you can't put the Ned rig. Actually, you don't want to with that lighter line. The odds of you getting them out are slim as none. You can, don't get me wrong. But if you can get them on big tackle, in this right here, it's just a lot easier to get them out. And it's still fun. Because, as a whole, to fish at Baden run a little bit bigger than they do in a lot of other places. And you fish a shallow, flat pier. They get up there. Largemouth do the same thing the spots do. They get up there and they spawn around in piers. But like I said, the piers at Baden and even Tillery, too, have got cross members on them. And you have to flip over them cross members. And you need a little bit heavier tackle to get them out. Like I said, there's nothing finesse about it. A lot of people, when they think of shaky head, they think finesse. I assure you, there is nothing finesse about this. You're flipping it in the thickest part of that pier that you can, and you set the hook on, and it's like wrestling an alligator out, and it's a lot of fun. You know, I really enjoy this time of the year. This is one of my favorite times of the year. There's a 4 to 6 week stretch usually from the 1st of April to about the middle of May where the fish spawn. And another thing that I can't stress too is eyewear. You know, these are Costa Corvinas. They're the 580. They're the glass lens, and they're the silver mirror front. And you know, you can't skimp on eyewear. You know, good eyewear, it cuts the glare off. And actually, here where I'm at today, I can actually look down with these glasses and I can see the bottom in about 3 or 4 foot of water. They cut the glare off that good. I like the silver mirror front. It just seems like it makes the, you know, a lot of times when you're sight fishing, you won't see the whole fish. You'll see the fish moving. What you'll see is you'll see the black of his tail. That's a lot of times that's all I ever see. You know, you very rarely, till you know where he's at, you know, you don't really see the whole fish. They'll kind of move, and when they move, you'll either see them flash or you'll see the black of that tail, and that's what I really look for. You know, when I was a kid growing up, I grew up in a little place called Farmer. If you guys know where Farmer's at, you know it's a very rural area. And I'd always get excited this time of the year. You know, when I was about 10 or 11 years old, there was probably 12 ponds that I had access to when I was growing up. And they were all within range of my 10-speed. Yes, my bicycle. I rode my bicycle when I was a kid and went fishing. And when it gets to be this time of the year, I just go harass them all. You know, they get up around the bank, and I try different things, you know. And they didn't have the tackle back then that I've got now. You know, that was 35 or 36 years ago. But that's some of my fondest memories are chasing those bass in those farm ponds when I was growing up. And it's just something that I love to do. And, you know, as I've aged and I've traveled more and I fish a lot more, you know, a lot more water. You know, I love fishing clear water this time of the year because I love looking at these fish. And it's almost like hunting. You know, you're almost stalking them. And, you know, what you want to do is you want to look. As you're going down the bank, you want to look in front of the boat and not right under you, because if you can see them before they see you, you've got a lot better chance of catching them. And a lot of times if you'll look up in front of the boat, you'll see them before you ever get to them, and you can stop, and you can turn, and the fish will be turned away from you. You make a long pitch to them. They'll never know you're there. Now, when they see you, you know, you kind of have to back off, and sometimes you actually have to leave them alone and then come back if you know where they're at. You know, and you just kind of sneak up on them. And like I said, it's almost a lot like hunting. And I just enjoy it. And that's why a lot of times this time of year I fish from daylight to dark. And, you know, it's the evening now, and I've been down here since daylight. But it's just something that I really, really enjoy doing. You know, another bait that works really good when you find one that's locked on the bed. This is a stand-up head with just a crawl bait on it. And this green pumpkin blue, I keep it real simple this time of the year. I use something green pumpkin blue. There's a Brent bluegill, got a lot of blue to them. That's a Dave's. That's actually a 3/8 ounce stand-up head. When you find one that's locked down, that's a really good way to catch. A lot of times that thing will stand up. It'll stand up like that, and those crawls will be right in their face. You know what I mean? They'll come in there nose down on it, and them crawls will be sticking up at them just like that. They just can't stand it. You know, you sit there and shake it, and it makes them mad. You know, you got to remember they're not biting. They're not feeding this time of the year. They're protecting their nest. You know, they're protecting their little eggs that they've got in the nest. And a lot of times it's just an aggressive bite. You know, some of them you can't catch. A lot of them you can. Some of them you have to work on. You know, everyone's different. You know, when they start making real tight circles in the bed, that's how you know they're getting ready to bite, and those are the ones that you can catch. And then sometimes they'll leave and they'll come back. And if it takes them a few minutes to come back, you know, I'll mess with them. A lot of times those ones it takes them a few minutes to come back. Those are the ones that's really hard to catch. And if you're fishing a tournament, you got to gauge whether you want to spend enough time on it and catch it. And the size of the fish has a lot to do with that too. If it's a 4 or 5 pounder, I'm going to spend a few minutes on it. Whereas if it's only a 2 or 2.5 pounder, I don't think I catch it. I'll just go down the bank and try to find me one that's a little more cooperative. But the spawn's on. We just come off the full moon. We're probably getting ready to come up on the dark moon. A lot of them have just moved up. The next 3 or 4 weeks are going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fish up shallow. Going to be a lot of big fish up shallow too. So if you guys get a chance to go. You know, go to some of these clear water lakes and, you know, fish shallow flat piers and just shallow flat banks. You know, like I said, when you think you're fishing shallow enough, fish shallow. You cannot fish too shallow this time of year. Get out there, get after it. Thanks, guys. Y'all have a good one. Everybody stay safe. We will see you guys next week, same time, same place. Y'all have a good one.